What's up, sports fans? Theo the Juggernaut with you Monday morning. Kind of went from a boo-rific weekend to a terrific weekend. How do I say that? Let's get right down to the action. Friday night, it was a Manitoba Moose Belleville Senators game going on. It was a beginning to a Theo sports weekend. Checking out action Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday live. 4-3 was the final on a shootout. The shootout seemed like it was never going to end. But the big picture was putting that first line together. The speed and the accuracy and the chemistry between Nick Patan, Chase DeLeo, and Jack Roslovich was uncomparable. And the reason why I say that is watching those three players for 3 full periods play together, see the chemistry they had, they were above and far the best line on both teams combined. Unfortunately, they didn't see a lot of their offensive prowess come together in either game. Nonetheless, they do have what it takes. You definitely know that those are the 3 top forwards for the Moose. And unfortunately, Chase DeLeo did score that tying goal late in the third, and also a goal in the shootout to maintain some sort of opportunity for the Moose for the victory on Friday. Unfortunately, like I said, shootout loss. Comrie took the net in the first game. Michael Hutchinson played in the second game, making 34 saves. And again, Moose jump out to a 2-0 quick lead. Couple of goals, one by Stojkovic. And then, unfortunately, they just couldn't hold the lead. Belleville scored 2 goals late, second and third period. And then finally in the overtime, and they did win over the Moose 3-2. So 2 ties, 2 losses. Depends how you look at it for the Moose. They had a decent weekend nonetheless. Lots of fans came out Saturday. And it was great action. As for our Blue, it's all I can really say. Watching those guys play live is just, it's painful to watch the bend don't break defense. And there's a lot of good things that happen on defense, the sacks, the pressures, the takeaways, the interceptions. But I'm telling you, over the last 2 games, close to 1,050 yards allowed in offense against our defense. The bend don't break hasn't worked, allowing the last 2 teams that we've played, the opponents, to have victories over the Blue. It's the first time we've lost 2 games like that. Not very impressive at all. And again, more injuries are stacking up. Matt Nichols leaving the first quarter with a calf injury. Looked like a Charlie horse, looked like something got pulled. Hopefully he can play Friday night against Calgary, because I'll tell you, if they don't let him play on Friday, our backups are horrible. And I use a couple of vowels in there, but if I had to do it Charles Barkley style, it would be horrible. HRBL. Awful. Combined, Dom Davies and Dan Lefevre, 50% passing, 2 picks, and not even 150 yards passing. Brutal. And our offense stalled intensely. I mean, the game was close when Dom Davies came in. It was 7-6. But you know what? We had 1 touchdown all game, 0 for 3 in the red zone. There was no offense. And to make matters worse, I mean, I've never seen a most terrible pass. It was almost like a suicide pass coming through the neutral zone in hockey. That dump off to Andrew Harris that just got lit up and concussed our running back. Hopefully he can come back again and play on Friday. That was injury number 2. We still aren't going to see Darvin Adams. We're not going to see Mo Leggett. We're not going to see Jamal Westerman. We're not going to see Flanders. He might play on Friday. There's an opportunity for that, but we still don't think he'll come back. 37-26 was the final. BC definitely knew how to play the long ball. And here's the third mistake that I noticed, quite frankly. When you watch a long ball against any of the Bombers' secondary, or linebackers for that matter, being thrown against, they have no ball sense. I don't mean balls between their legs. I mean ball sense in the fact that when it's up in the air, they're not taking the opportunity to look back and seeing where that ball is in the air. Rather, they're watching the opponent's arms or their hands when they open up. They're trying to swat the ball away. Well, I mean, it is a chemistry thing, or it is a philosophy on how to play defense, but it hasn't worked all season. Our defensive secondary, unless they've got a clear bite on the ball and they're able to make that interception, they're allowing these big plays. I mean, Rainey had one. Arsenault was, lights out all game. He wasn't very effective, but he had those quick outs. He had those 10, 15-yard gainers. Killed it. Marched down the field. And Jennings was able to pick us apart, throwing for 75%, going almost 30 for 39. So, I mean, it doesn't point to all great signs walking into the final game into Calgary. I mean, Calgary's probably going to be resting some of their players, maybe, maybe not. But I think, if anything, that we've had 4 chances now, or 3 chances now, to lock up and secure second place, and we can't do it. And that's very unfortunate for this Bomber team. And for anyone that's going to harp on Justin Medlock, he took it all for a grain of salt. He went 7 for 7, booting 2 from 48 in that ugly weather on Saturday. So shut up. He was the only guy that was playing decent all game. And then we go to Sunday. Finally, the trifecta continued, and it got completed Sunday night. Pittsburgh Penguins are in town. They only come in once. Had the fortunate opportunity to watch them from the stands. And that first period was electric. It was pounding. A couple of records. I mean, that was the first time we've scored 5 goals as a franchise in the first. Quickest hat trick, 4:20. I mean, 4 minutes and 20 seconds, fellas. Don't get too serious. By Blake Wheeler, the first one of this year. And not to mention, we chased out Matt Murray, allowing 4 goals on 9 shots. So the deal was 7-1 final. Joel Armia, Mark Scheifele, Andrew Kopp adding in singles. And then babyface tough guy Brandon Lemieux popped his first one in. He finally popped the cherry. Very exciting to see that young kid score a goal. He was very happy on the bench. Hendricks picked up the puck for it, which was awesome. A great sight to see. And they coined in, or they focused in on him a couple times after he scored. And he was fighting back those faces. He was fighting back those grins and those laughs. And it was good to see him kind of pop one in. So we didn't see any other electric fights. I mean, Ryan Reeves got a 10-minute misconduct, so he got sent off with Brandon Lemieux. So it wasn't quite some fisticuffs, but I think the refs were just kind of saying, you know what, we're not going to allow any of that on a Sunday fun day. So that was that. 7-1. Connor Hellebuck, great job. 31 out of 32 saves. Did fantastic in the net. I think he has definitely clarified himself as being the number 1 goaltender. Hasn't lost a game yet. That was his first true test. The Jets were outshot by 7 or 8 shots last night as well. So they have a bit of a break. Next home game is Thursday. Dallas Stars are in town. Should be a good tilt. Feel the Juggernaut saying, keep dry out there, drive safe, have a wonderful day. We'll talk later on this week.